In my last video when I talked about Disney Infinity, I mentioned my love for Monsters University, but God, I think I underestimated myself. This thing is most definitely in the Pixar Big Three, no doubt. From the movie's amazing visuals to its amazing soundtrack, the entire watch from front to end is so well paced and so rewatchable that I absolutely love this thing. Another thing I like about this movie is that it does no harm to Monsters Inc. I see so many prequels that harm and tarnish the reputation of a good story. While I think there's many movies that can do it right, I think this one makes me appreciate and love the original even more. Such an important part of a story like this is definitely the setup, and that's the first thing I'm going to talk about here. Well, I think that Monsters Inc. has some of the best world building in probably all of movies. This movie definitely does not disappoint. I love all the ways that not only does it build off the original, but it improves. It shows that students in Monsters University actually make the doors, the different monsters that go to different campuses. There's rival campuses just like in the real world, and not to mention they have their own sports too. I think that this movie is just slightly less creative than the original, only because they were limited with the amazing world building of the original. But don't get that twisted, it most definitely adds plenty of creativity to this world that was already built so well. One thing I have to say about this movie's world building is the absolute amazing soundtrack. I by far think this is one of the best soundtracks out of the entire Pixar catalog. I think that the fact that it's all done with instruments from a college band makes it even better, and you can hear it all culminate towards the end with the final scare game. In the beginning of this movie, we witness the events of Mike discovering why he wants to become a scarer. We see Mike's reason why he studies so hard is because all of his life he's been ridiculed for not being scary enough. He thinks he's finally ready to become the scarer he's always wanted to be, until Sully walks into his life. Sully is the reason why he gets kicked out of the scare program. Sully doesn't care at first because he isn't the one who's had to work for his whole life. Sully in Mike's eyes is everything Mike could have ever wanted to be, and more. And he had it so easy. He was born into being a Sullivan. Something Sully doesn't even realize is Sully being born with these advantages pushes Mike to study and work harder just to beat him. Another thing I think is great about this movie as a prequel and as a movie is you can watch these two movies back to back and see how Mike from Monsters Inc. fits right into the mold of Mike in Monsters University. Still training Sully to be his best, still working extremely hard, and still wanting to be the very best. Mike Wazowski, while not the main character in Monsters Inc., I truly think Sully is, was always Sully's mentor. Whether it literally means being his coach or being the one who is trying to be the voice of reason when bringing a human into the monster world. In Monsters Inc., when Sully and Mike get banished, Mike is mad and frustrated at Sully, while Sully is sad and almost upset, almost the complete polar opposite of Mike, which I think is perfectly encapsulated in Monsters University. It shows how hard of a fighter Mike is, and the fact that he still believes that he fought hard, and the fact that Sully said, "It doesn't matter now." That was the reason for the amount of anger Mike showed, because at the end of the day, it was always just a choice for Sully to become a scarer. For Mike, it was the only dream he had. While I already think that Monsters Inc. covers the issues of systematic abuse very well, I think it's so much stronger and more pronounced in this movie. We watch Mike slowly grow and realize as a character that no matter how hard he tries, he just wasn't born the same as Sully or Randall. He just isn't scary enough, causing Sully, towards the end of the movie, to rig the games to make Mike not feel bad. This makes Mike leave the monster world to prove himself like he did at the beginning of the movie. He's unfortunately proven wrong, and is only saved because of his bond he makes with Sully in this movie. But what I like about this ending is that the characters don't win. Matter of fact, the complete opposite happens. They lost. They got expelled. They got kicked out of the scare program. But they got what they really wanted, and they realized the bond of each other accomplished so much more than anything in the Scare program or anything in the Scare games could ever teach them, seeing themselves slowly work their ways up to become the people we first met them as in Monsters, Inc. It felt like such a slight, sweet, bitter ending. All in all, I think Monsters University covers such a deeper topic than most people seem to realize. I think that the fact that Monsters University doesn't get talked about enough and has mixed reviews is absolutely crazy, because this thing is so truly great and so underrated. Anyways, I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing and let me know if I should make more videos on this. Anyways, goodbye.